What up guys, Bo here again, and welcome to another Bo Junior vlog, right? In this entry I wanted to talk about something I mentioned in the last entry, which is a technique or a tool, a practice that you can take with you to help you if you're looking to tap into your sensitivity, if you recognize that you're energetically insensitive and that you want, this is an exploration that you want to go on, right? To tap into your feelings and find why, your desires and everything like that, then this tool might be helpful for you. Or just generally, like, if you need time to kind of introspect and figure something out that's important, whether that be like a life goal, like a major decision, whatever it might be, like something that takes like a bit of kind of self-reflection and like kind of like whatever it is, right? But mostly if you just want to like let your feelings out or let your think, like, just kind of like air out your thoughts and to express yourself, then this will be a useful tool for you, right? It's a tool that's really helped me out in my life ever since I started doing it, like kind of like spring 2014. I've been doing it ever since then, right? And it's really helped me, like in times when I kind of get stuck in a rut or something, like I just go out and do this, right? And what this is talking to yourself, right? And what talking to yourself does, it's not a sign of madness. It might be, but at the very least, if you do talk to yourself, then like you have an advantage over other people, which is self-knowledge, right? But so talking to yourself basically allows you to express, right? And expression is very important because in the world of energy, expression is is one way you can break out of energetic stagnation, of energetic kind of like being in an energetic rut, where like you feel like your life isn't going anywhere. You feel like your daily experiencing is like kind of like decaying. It's like decaying you. Then you can go out and basically express yourself and to talk things through with yourself, right? And I would even go so far as to say that this is a practice that is crucial if you want to live a life that is more than mediocre, right? The thing that people who live in lives of mediocrity lack is their own voice, right? And the way that you foster your own voice is to go out and literally use it, right? Because like, even if you're someone who with a lot of kind of like novel thoughts, right? There's something magical about, well, first and foremost, writing them down. So like another way you could do this is to keep a journal or keep a diary. That's actually what I did first. I started keeping a diary in 2010, right? I still keep it to this day, although it's kind of changed functions. Like it's kind of become more of a dream journal because like it's been replaced ultimately by my vocal diaries. But yeah, you can also use a journal to like put your thoughts down. But to me, like there's something really very kind of nourishing about putting your thoughts into words, into spoken language, and it's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic. It helps with stress. It helps gets things off your chest. So there's something very great about that, right? So yeah, so if you happen to be stuck and you feel like you're being overwhelmed by life, you feel like you don't have control over your life, or you just want to let something off your chest, then I would suggest this if you don't already do it, right? And yeah, it's been a very kind of important practice for me, right? And I'll even give you one more, right? So this is one way that this is, you could say, like one important spiritual practice that I have. You know, it's not meditation, but in a way it has the same, it has a similar kind of a role to that, so something like that, right? So I just go out and I talk to myself, right? Another thing that might help, again, is to keep a journal, but like a journal in the traditional sense, like, yeah, so you have, I don't know, maybe like, so the way that my brain works is that it's quite like, I have like really erratic thoughts. Like my thoughts don't happen in a sequential order, and that's always been something that kind of frustrated me to no end. But like I don't think in like, I think in like kind of bursts, right? I'll think of one thing and then I'll think of something else that's completely unrelated, but they're equally like, they're equally kind of like valuable. Like the thoughts I have, like I have loads of different thoughts, and like they all happen in like different ways. And the way that I keep track of these thoughts and to record them down is that like I keep a Word document, like a text file, where I just write down these sentences as they come out. Right. So as opposed to like the kind of traditional diary format, which is basically written in prose, like I have another file, you know, Word document or text document that where I just write down like random sentences. And I've also gone so far as to like organize them by date. So I date everything. This is one thing. So if you're like me and you're like, okay, I want to start recording these, right? I record all of my vocal diaries. You know, sometimes I don't, you know, because like it gets a bit overwhelming. But like when you get the files, like it's good to keep them organized. Otherwise, like, well, which helps you be able to like kind of like come back to them. If you have like a massive epiphany like on one vocal diary, you can you can label it and then go back to it basically. So like I date everything. You know, every single thing I write down, I date, right? Every time I have a new idea that I want to put in the text file, I put a date first, and then I put all of the entries that come under that, you know, in the same day under that, right? And also, and all of the vocal entries that I record, I date them, and I also make the title into basically like a synopsis of what that entry was about, so that if one day like I need to go back to these, or like I need some inspiration, then I can look through all the titles and I can know what I talked about in those entries. And like I use, aside from ideas I cover, like I also write down like kind of like landmarks, you know, like psychological and physical landmarks that help me remember what the hell I was doing when I was recording it. I might have been in the park, I might have been in my house, in my flat, I might have been in my car driving somewhere, I might have just finished work, I might have just come home from a party or something, I don't know, whatever it is, right? Something that helps me remind me, so that like I can tune into that energetically, you know, so not just ideologically but also energetically, right? So yeah, you know, this is you know, talking to yourself, expressing yourself, you know, your feelings, and getting your ideas down on paper, you know, getting your thoughts down on paper is a great way to start to organize yourself when it comes to your thoughts, right? Because I don't know, if a book like Think and Grow Rich, not necessarily the content of that book, but the title of it has anything to say about like the correlation between your thinking and success, you know, fulfillment. Yeah, like there's a very crucial correlation between those two things, right? And one of the biggest, you know, I talk about the things that I feel are kind of the things that the major problems that people have. The first, of course, being energetic sensitivity, but the second one is independent thinking. Because a lot of people, they're so bombarded by like external thoughts and ideas and like junk. Like a lot of it is junk, you know, entertainment and stuff like that. You know, I'm not exactly like exempt from that myself, but like, but to guard against that, like, you need to start to develop like an intellectual kind of structure where that can facilitate you having your own thoughts, right? Like, it astounded me when I started to do this, like how little control I had over my thinking. You know, like it struck me that like I had no, like everything that I used to think was like completely borrowed. You know, the images that I had in my mind were completely borrowed from like media, mostly media in my case, but like, you know, and like all of the, and it's like there was no kind of like, there was no like kind of like fire, like passion I felt towards anything that I thought about, because it was also trite and cliched and irrelevant to my own life experience. You know, like they were just words that people gave me. You know, education is great, you know, but like a lot of what I learned was like, it's just like trite and meaningless to me until I started to like develop my own independent thinking. So I would consider independent thinking to be my first major breakthrough in my journey of self-discovery, you know, in my journey towards awareness. Then it was emotional sensitivity, but the first was independent thinking, right? So if you're stuck in a place that's very dark and hopeless, and you feel like there's no point to life, and you're like, you feel the most bruised and battered down you've ever been, what I would advise is to find some way to start to find, on my website, I call this a cocoon, right? Find a cocoon where you can go and be with yourself and express yourself and start to question and think, right? And have space for your own thinking. And the tool I gave you in this video will help facilitate that. So cool. I hope that was helpful. It's been extremely, like it's been invaluable to me on my journey. And I hope through providing it to you that you can then, you know, take it and then do something similar for yourself, you know, in your life. Cool. I hope that's been helpful. And I hope you guys are having a good day. I'll see you in the next entry. Peace out, bros. Whoosh.